rise up, brothers and sisters, boys and girls, kings and queens, friends, frenemies, and you agents. My name is Brother Marley. This is the Senegambi One channel, the Senegambi One channel. I'd like to welcome you because today we're talking a little bit about what you need to know about starting a business over here in West Africa if you're not from this country. If you're not from this country in this part of the world, what do you need to know about starting a business? I'm going to give you a little bit of advice. I've had 3 successful businesses here and 1 not so successful. But I can tell you a little bit about what works and what doesn't work from my point of view. Okay, so the biggest difference about running a business here and running a business over in the West is the marketplace. Over in the West, you have a huge middle class. So it doesn't matter whether you're in the States or in the UK or anywhere else in the West, you have a huge middle class propping up the system. Like, you wouldn't go for the richest people in the country because they're hard to find and there's not very many of them. Also, there is like not many middle class people either. So what you get over here is loads of people here who have got lots of money, and there are loads of people here who've got no money, and no one in between. You're in between. So having something like, say, a restaurant has to be thought very carefully before you go ahead and do that. Simply because it's not like opening a KFC or a McDonald's or something where you open the doors and people will walk by, and drop in for a portion of fries. You've got to think a little bit more strategic about it. Over in Gambia, the restaurants I had there were strictly for the tourists who were coming over to the country. That's the first restaurant. The second restaurant, Motu, was more for diasporan visitors. So not so much a tourist spot. So it wasn't in the tourist area, but it was definitely for visitors, as opposed to people who live there. Because people who live there, yeah, you get 1 or 2 who will come in and say, yeah, I'll have a plate of oxtails or whatever. But for the majority of people, they'll walk right by and be like, that's not for me. I remember I was at this event. It was Sister Shakina Chinadu, who sadly passed away a few months ago. She was having an event where she had some land and she had on the land a door of return. So it was a symbolic way of us coming back home. And it was a really nice, really well thought out. Everyone was invited, the chiefs of the area, the local big wigs of the area. Lots of people from the diaspora were there. She had this massive tent that she erected. And so we all sat down we are so programmed, we don't even realize it. We sat down in our rows like a good little audience to listen to the speeches that were being given from the platform. Whereas the local Gambian people, picked up a chair, walked out of the tent, went to the back and sat under a mango tree to listen from afar. And what that told me was that there is a natural grouping that happens, that even as we try to assimilate, there are differences, people are aware of the differences, and people will differentiate themselves, whether you like it or not. So so if you're going to have a restaurant, for example, you cannot be the face of the restaurant. Like, you need to have staff there to be the face of the restaurant. And that way you can kind of be more easily accepted by the people who are locally there. Secondly, because of the fact that there isn't that many people who can afford Western priced food or Western type foods, you're going to be looking at mostly people who are visiting, mostly visitors, mostly tourists, mostly returnees. They're going to be your target audience. And because of the fact that you have tourist season and off season here, your business will be better run if you work hard during the tourist season and then take off the off season, like shut up shop. Some people go for working through the off season, which over here is the rainy season. Now, rainy season is difficult. If you look at the roads here in Senegal, the main roads are all tarmacked. But once you get into the villages, they're not, it's sand. So because it's sand, it means that when the rainy season comes, it becomes basically rivers running in amongst, through, and into people's houses, into your restaurant as well. So you don't need that stress. What you need really is to be able to shut up the place, make sure you make it as watertight as possible, put sandbag behind the doors, whatever you need to do. Shut up the shop and go, leave your business. When you come back, reopen, you may need to give it a new paint job because of the hard rain been smashing against the paint job. Things like that need to be done when you first get back. But that might be your most efficient way of doing it. It's a nice way as well because you work hard during the winter and then you come back to the West in the summertime, enjoy the summertime in the West while everybody else over here in West Africa is taking on the rains and so on and so forth. You don't need that hassle. You don't need that stress. If you did want to have a business where you are providing a service for local people, stay away from food and look at services as a other possibility. So for the women over here, they love a wig and they love a weave. Love it. They will find as many sugar daddies as they can find to get the money together to be able to buy themselves a lace front. So you could have that kind of business. Cosmetics is a big deal. Those times when people were, turning their face orange and then their hands are still black like tar, those days are starting to wane and starting to go behind. People are still doing that. But you'll find people are being a little bit more discerning. They might be interested in the Bobby Brown selection and so on. So it means that, you could target that audience over here in West Africa. There's also things like, for example, tire fitters. A tire fitters is a nice business to get into. A lot of people, they would sell second-hand tires as part of the tire fitting business. But there's a lot of separation. So there's a man here who will fit the tires, but he doesn't sell the tires. There's a man who sells the tires, but he doesn't fit the tires. You can do it all in one, sell the tires and fit them for people. That'll make you stand out. Also, what will make you stand out is that you can do new tires. It's another great way of being able to provide a better service. Do the second-hand tires as well. Do second-hand tires and keep as many sizes as possible. Because there's many times when I'll be like, I have a Jeep. Do you have a tire for me? No, I don't have your tire. So you've got to go around with your flat tire looking for someone to be able to sell you a possible tire, and is usually no good. So that's another easy, good ongoing business that you can have. There's lots of people who give away tires over in the West. You can find them on eBay, people giving away or selling tires for $1 a tire or something stupid like that. You can fill up your whole container full of $1 tires and you can sell all of those for $10, $15 per tire. So it's a great markup. You can do that all day, every day. Engine parts is another one. Car accessories, car spares, all day, every day. You can sell those here in West Africa. Be mindful though of the types of models that are available. So, for example, here in Senegal, a lot of their stuff comes from France. So Peugeot, Renault, they all day, every day, they are very good. Not so much Ford. In Gambia, they're interested in Mercedes. A lot of Mercedes, a lot of German parts are good. So Volkswagens, Mercedes, they go all day, every day. And it's the older models you want. So not so much the newer stuff, because people hold on to their cars here. If you buy a car and it's a 2015, you're going to have that car. In 2045, you'll still have that same car. People hold on to their cars. They run those clocks around, all the way around to the dial. So you have a car with 1,000,000 miles in it, no problem. Here's the thing that I see that can not work for a business, things that you should keep in mind that don't work for a business over here. So what's very important is the politics around having your business. You see here in this place called Africa, there's not many people from the diaspora here still. If you was to come over here, you are still a trailblazer, you're still a pioneer. All the places aren't taken up, all the businesses are not taken up. You can still run your business here quite easily, quite happily. And you're still a pioneer. You're no different. I've been there 10 years and you're no different from me. I'm still learning. You can come here and learn too. But one thing I've learned is live good with people. Because all it takes is one person to start speaking bad about you. And it doesn't take no time for people to boycott your business, people to not want to mess with you because they think that you're a certain way due to, Chinese whispers. Okay, a little post edit, adding this in after I finish the video. It doesn't matter whether you are here or you are where you are now. Obviously, do your best and give your best service to your customer. Goes without saying. But I think it's more important here. Because your world is so small, because of the fact that you are a non-Senegalese or a non-Nigerian or a non-Ghanaian or a non-Gambian, wherever you are in Africa, you stand out anyway. And other people who are there, also from the West, they will naturally congregate with each other, and they'll come to you naturally as customers. But if you mess with your own people and their money, it will be the end of you. There was this one man who shall remain nameless. However, he knows who he is. He had a business over in Gambia where he would do just small kind of like fix-it jobs for your car. Let me change a wheel, or let me fix your windscreen for you. Those kind of small jobs, right? Had a nice spot, and I ran over a nail, so I went to him and said, "Could you sell me a tire, change a tire for me?" Because all these other people were telling me they didn't get the right tire size and all this other stuff. He said, "No problem." He said, "I'll give it a quick check over as well, make sure everything else is cool, and put it up on the ramp and have lots." I said, "Yeah, please, that's nice." Nice bit of customer service there. So now, he tells his worker, let's say his worker's name was Babuka, right? He says, "Babuka, take this man's car, put it up on the ramp." He's like, "Okay, boss." Me and Babuka walk to the car, and inside the car is Lamin sitting inside the car. So I'm like, "Get out of my car." But Babuka says, "Oh no, he works here." So I was like, all right, cool, sorry, go ahead. Lemon starts the car. Let me tell you, Lemon put his foot down so hard on this car pedal that my car hit the back of the owner's car, which in turn was pushed up like at a 45-degree angle on the upstrut of the car ramp. So the back of his car is now leaning on the bonnet of my car. I'm screaming all kinds of blue murder. Like, what are you doing? And then I don't know whether it's the fact that he's seen his car falling back on his in his face. I don't know whether it's because he sees his boss's car falling back on his face, or whether it's because I'm screaming at him from behind him, or a bit of both. But instead of this fool pressing the brake, he puts his foot down further on the accelerator. So my car's doing this, like crunching into the back of this man's car. Yo. The owner said, look, you know what? It's my fault. I'll pay for any damages in your car. Don't worry about it. I said, thanks very much. That's very kind of you. He said, give me 3 days, I'll sort it all out. I went back there 3 days. And it was fine, but the power steering wasn't working. So I'm like, yo, power steering's not working. He's like, okay, give me another 2 days, I'll fix it. Went back 2 days later on, power steering's still not working. I had that car for another, 3 years? 4 years? Never got power steering back. You'd fill it up with ATF fluid. It would be better for like a day and then it would stop working again. Useless. Fast forward. A couple years later on. We're at an event together. We're not together. He's at an event and I'm at the same event. And there's this young English guy, Richard. He's at the event with his mum. So one of the people on the table, they say to Richard, Richard's also a car mechanic, right? So one of the people on the table says, hey Richard, I'm taking a journey over to Senegal. Could I drop my car for you over to you to have a look at before I get on the road? He's like, yeah, sure, no problem. Another person says, actually, you know what, my car needs a service. So would you mind looking at my car? Yeah, no worries, says Richard. So I say, I can't remember why, but I say, check my car out as well. Now, Richard's mother, Sue, she says, why are none of you lot asking owner, the guy that original place, who shall remain nameless? Why not going to owner and asking him to do your car? Everyone stayed quiet. Everybody stayed quiet. It was only when owner left did we all start gossiping, and everybody had a story about this man and he can't fix the car and he's useless and workless and so on and so forth. So do your best, because your customer base is tiny and fickle and they'll leave you so quick. All right, back to the original video. Let's go. It's hurtful, but it's also a very good lesson, because you learn that politics becomes a very big part of your business. You know, it's not like in London or in New York or in Philadelphia where you can just be like, well, let me turn up, open up my business, and let the market see whether they're interested in what I do. Here it's like the other way around. Does the market like me? Have I hurt anyone in the market? Is the market going to turn against me because of the ill words of people speaking about you? That could definitely be an issue. So bear that in mind. Bear in mind that where you've got a tourist season, the income can come in for 6, 7 months of the year and then drop off for the other 5 months of the year. So even if you want to run your business during the rainy season, expect the business to go down by 3/4. All right. So maybe it's just turning over. Maybe you can have just turning over sales during the off season. Because even if you are looking at, I'm only going to be dealing with people from the diaspora. I'm only going to be dealing with people who are visiting the country. I'm only going to be dealing with those people in the top 10%. Or even if you're dealing with people who live there. Those people who live there, let's say, for example, you're a petrol attendant and I want to come to your business and patronize you. Well, because we're off season, there's not so many people going to work in the hotels and staying in the hotels and going to the restaurants, working in the restaurants. So there's less taxis having to go and do that work. So there's less taxis coming to me for me to pump the petrol. So now there's less staff working at the petrol stations to deal with that business. So now I can no longer come and patronize you. So it has this kind of ongoing effect throughout the market. So even if you're thinking, well, tourist season doesn't affect me, it will affect you down the line. So keep that in mind as well. All right, so I think that's kind of covered the things you need to know before opening up a business here in West Africa. This is your brother Mali. Until next time, you take care of yourself. Peace.